put streamers you don't normally watch at the top of your list. It's so big. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough thing. Sometimes you want to follow people, but you want to watch them infrequently. Honestly, I would just unfollow people that you don't want to watch. That's just me. I'm a creator though, so I run into the problem. People like watch who you're following. They watch who's VIP'd. Like that. So if you like don't talk to someone for a while and you're like, I'm gonna unfollow just because like I never watch them and I probably won't. I don't dislike them though. And you hit unfollow, people will be like, oh, why did they unfollow? And they don't see it as like me curating things down. So like my sidebar UX wise is just people that I watch. They see it as like I do not condone this person or something, you know? I've slowed down on it. I unfollow people on Twitter pretty often though, because I just don't want to see them clogging up the feed. It doesn't mean that I don't like them, but sometimes I'll do that. Or if like I followed someone 2 years ago and I just have never interacted with them, their tweets don't even show up on the timeline at all. The follow is just empty. I will just get rid of it sometimes, you know? But then that gets seen as like something more than it is. And that's, I don't know, makes me wary of doing it sometimes. So now I feel like I can't do that the way I want. I start muting them if I feel like it'll cause an issue. Yeah, I've taken to doing that a little more. There was like one that I did unfollow within this year, and then at some point some people like just really wanted me to interact with that person, and then someone like noticed that I had followed them previously and then didn't, and then they emailed me. They emailed my assistant who was checking, was like, do you know this user? And I was like, no, I don't even know that username. They're like, okay. They sent some crazy email about like, they were basically stalking the following list then if it's like a random. And they were like reading heavily into something relating to that. And I was like, what are you? It was odd. It was very odd. It was very weird. It was just as simple as like, I've never interacted with you. Prune, you know? That's all it was, dude. So yeah, I've definitely taken to muting more, for sure. Yeah, as people you follow that retweet excessively. You can go to a specific person's profile and turn off retweets, though. That is a thing. You can do the little 3-dot menu, like go to a user on Twitter and say mute retweets. So you don't have to mute everything. So then if they post something homegrown, you know, you can still see it, but the retweets you can turn off, which I do a lot because, you know, I try to keep myself away from like world events and world news when I'm in like content creator mode. That stuff has nothing to do with me, the content creator. I keep that all on the personal side. So I don't try to blend those two sides at all. So yeah, if I'm sitting there and I'm on like at General GEEGA, yeah, I'm gonna mute all of that. I'm gonna turn all of that off. I don't want to see it. And it's, you know, you remember a VTuber that was super excited about me blocking them? Really? I do remember one person that I did block kept talking about it for the next like 2 months. And I kept seeing it because other people would tag me in replies. They'd be like, why did @username block you? And I'm like, wasn't the whole point that I don't see it? Like, so then I have to block those people. And I'm just like, oh, now you can't tag me, you know? But I pretty much only block someone if they've been really weird to me, really weird to a friend, or the stuff that they tweet or the stuff that they make content of is just so like vile or something. And I'm just like, I can't. There's some other people that I want to block, but I haven't because I'm like, if I do that, it will be a crumb of attention and they will never stop. You know, they will never stop. There's some bubbles, some pockets of people that like, and you can tell because it's always the same 10 people posting about the same things with the same attitude and the same old talking points that they bring up, blah, blah, blah. A lot of like people that act pseudo informed and pseudo intellectual that will do this stuff. And I'm like, I can't block these people because if I do, they'll be like, she's noticed me. Whoa. And then it gets worse. That's why I really wish Twitter had shadow banning, shadow blocking, the same way YouTube does, where you just hide somebody. Because you can hide them from your end, but you can't hide them from everyone else in a shadow way, right? You can only like block in a way where they can see they've been blocked, and then they're like, woo, I've been blocked, I've been noticed, you know? So that sucks. Is it muting the same as shadow ban? No, it's not. Because if I mute someone on Twitter, I can't see them, but everyone else still can. So if I post good morning guys, and then like asshole account 1 comes up and is like, oh, good morning. What about this thing you said 3 months ago? Meh, 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 right? If I have them muted, then I won't see that reply. But other people still will. They're still able to reply to me. And then other people that follow me can see that, right? So I want to be able to mute them from like all things. Like any reply, if they reply to me, they're in a thread with me, then that is muted, if that makes sense. Like for everybody. That's how YouTube works with the hide feature, hide user. It's good because that person still feels like they're posting. But if I see a user on YouTube that goes to like every one of my clips and says some like crazy I can hide them. And now anytime I post anything and they reply, any interaction they have that normally would be visible to other people on my account in any way, no one can see it. They're fully shadow realmed. And it's great because instead of them going to a video and being like, you are blocked, you can't comment, and having a big pop-up, instead they feel like they're commenting. And when they leave a comment, they see it. No one else does. So it's good because it doesn't give them that like satisfaction attention crumb by giving them like the message like, oh, you've been blocked or whatever. So they don't even notice that they're shadow banned, right? That's a really good feature because that's the best way to get rid of people that like getting blocked will just make them do more because they've gotten attention, right? I wish Twitter had that. It would get rid of a lot of harassment. It would let you curate a lot better. It'd be the best thing they could add. Wish Twitch had shadow banning where you can just trap a guy in the crystal. They sit there typing slurs in chat, but nobody ever sees. Yeah, because the banning someone from chat thing on Twitch, again, gives you like this huge, like the whole chat gets covered. It gets grayed out, and then it has a big symbol, and it's like, you've been banned from chat. And I think it would be better to just hide. Actually, that's the one thing I don't like YouTube's moderation tools for live streaming. They're like very annoying UX-wise to use. But the one thing that I do like is exactly that. Having the hide user feature work in your live chat is great because they'll still watch and they'll still type and they'll still feel like they can like be there. Because sometimes you don't necessarily want to tell that person they can't watch, but you don't want other chatters to see them because they're gonna genuinely ruin the vibe, right? So being able to put them in the shadow realm is nice because they can sit there and type. They can sit there and type and they can get the feeling of the experience without ruining it for others. And I think that's good because there are some people that should be banned. They're like haters, but there are other people, maybe they're just, their vibe is off. Their vibe is off and they're a little weird, a little, like disruptive, but they're not like a bad person to the point where I'm like, I have to ban you and I don't want you here ever. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like gray area people like that where I feel like that shadow ban would be so much better because then they could still have the experience of typing. Maybe it sequesters their comments into a different spot where if we open it, we can still see it, you know? Yeah, if they're just bad at interacting, right. And I think I'd like something for those people because I think those people get rejected kind of like wherever they go. Like they get banned from a lot of chats and they're like, I don't understand why everyone hates me. And then they doom spiral and they have a bad time. And I'm like, well, you could have just made a hide feature, you know? It's ultimately healthier being able to shadow ban people rather than like giving them the attention, letting them know they're banned. Because oftentimes when people get banned, they immediately in that moment get embarrassed, upset, frustrated. And those feelings make people want to do something about it. They spring into action, which makes them likely to, yes, ban evade or to like go to other platforms. It makes them start adding you on Twitter, right? They get banned in your Twitch chat and then they post a picture of it and they're like, why am I banned? Right? I had one dude that was just being weird and he was a VTuber, a small VTuber, and he was pushing and trying to be friends with all these other VTubers. And he was like, it was so clear what he was doing because he would try to ask everyone for collabs, whatever. And then he was like kind of just weird on stream with people. And he didn't like break any crazy social rules or actual laws or anything, but it was very odd and it made people very uncomfortable. And he would come into people's chats and directly like act like he's friends with people. And he would do this to smaller VTubers a lot. He would hop in and be like, hey, yeah, oh yeah, I love this game. If you ever want to play, let me know. He would like do that when you like don't really know him that well, like in your chat. You'd be like, that's something you DM someone, but you don't put that in their chat, especially when you don't know them. Like it was just kind of weird. So I ended up just banning him in the chat. And bro, this was when I had DMs on Twitter open. Bro DM'd me with a picture of the ban with like 5 question marks. And I was like, you're weird, buddy. Sorry. Made me uncomfortable. My boundary is here and you were there. Let's calm down. There's nothing wrong with wanting to like naturally grow closer to people, but when you like push it, it just feels so weird to be on the receiving end of it. It feels so odd and it's just, I don't know. It's one thing when you shoot your shot one time, but when people kind of ignore it and then you do it like 5 times, then it's no longer shooting your shot. Now it's pushing, you know? I don't know, stuff like that. I'm just like,